Park rangers are being threatened anytime they come forward with their own strange supernatural experiences in our national parks. And as you're going to find out in today's episode, what's really going on is far more disturbing than we can ever know. Without further ado, let's begin. Secrets of the Woods. As a seasoned park ranger with the National Park Service, I've dedicated over 15 years of my life to safeguarding a sprawling, densely wooded park nestled in the enchanting Pacific Northwest. Listen, I know this might sound far-fetched, but trust me, every single detail I'm about to share with you is absolutely true. During a routine patrol near a less visited backcountry trailhead in August 2018, I stumbled upon a set of remarkably large footprints deeply imprinted in the soft soil. These prints, measuring approximately 18 inches in length, boasted an impressive stride length of over 5 feet. Although the size of the creature might make one skeptical, it's worth noting that the video clearly shows a bipedal being with remarkably accurate anatomical details, making it highly unlikely to be a fake. I've meticulously recorded the prints, complete with their precise GPS coordinates, yet I've never come across anything remotely comparable ever since. In the summer of 2022, a group of campers in a secluded area of the park had quite the experience. They claimed to have heard some peculiar whooping vocalizations during the night. Quite the mysterious encounter, I must say. These descriptions are quite peculiar and don't seem to align with any known animals found in the region. During my investigation, I stumbled upon some intriguingly similar calls. The sounds they made were incredibly loud and had an eerie, almost human-like quality to them. These occurrences are quite uncommon, yet they contribute to an eerie undertone surrounding the park's notoriety. I decided to share my experiences because I truly value the importance of being open and transparent. It's important for the public to realize that these parks, although stunning, can also hold enigmatic phenomena that challenge our understanding. So, the other night, I stumbled upon this seriously creepy decaying carcass by a creek bed. I mean, I consider myself pretty knowledgeable about animals, but I couldn't for the life of me figure out what it was. There was something off about the body, with its unsettling proportions and an abundance of teeth. The odor was unlike any decaying flesh I've ever come across. When I came back after 2 days, it had vanished completely, leaving no evidence behind. During my patrols in the densest parts of ancient forests, I often experience an intense and unsettling sensation of being under constant surveillance. I've come to rely on my intuition and quickly retreat from those places. I've come across some incident reports that are, well, quite out of the ordinary, and they never seem to find their way into the official channels. It's fascinating how stories can undergo transformations, reports can be modified, and witnesses can mysteriously go quiet. It's truly fascinating to ponder the extent of information they are trying to keep hidden from the public. There are some intriguing tales circulating about a mysterious creature that resides in the depths of the forest. It seems to have a knack for staying hidden, but every now and then it leaves behind subtle clues of its existence. Initially skeptical, my mind has been open to the potential validity of these intriguing old tales. It's fascinating to consider that this particular area has a rich and extensive record of documented encounters with a mysterious creature often referred to as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. There is ongoing debate surrounding the existence of this creature, but the park's lore is enriched by the numerous reports from credible witnesses. After going through some of these reports myself, I must say that the level of detail in certain descriptions is quite intriguing. I can't help but wonder if the footprints I stumbled upon and the eerie vocalizations I heard could be linked to these ongoing sightings. It's a perplexing mystery that begs further investigation. It's fascinating to consider that this particular area has a rich and intriguing past, filled with numerous accounts of encounters with a mysterious creature often referred to as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. There's been a lot of back and forth about whether this creature actually exists, but what's really interesting is the large number of reports from people who are considered to be trustworthy. It definitely adds an extra level of intrigue to the park's legends. After going through some of these reports myself, I must say that the level of detail in certain descriptions is quite intriguing. I can't help but wonder if there's a possible link between the footprints I stumbled upon and the eerie sounds I heard. It's like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Curiously enough, there's an additional layer intertwined with the region's past: unidentified aerial phenomena, more commonly known as UFOs. There have been numerous accounts of peculiar lights and objects in the sky that have endured for many years, with some even being observed near the park. I've always brushed these off as misidentified aircraft or natural phenomena, but I can't help but question the timing of some of these sightings. There have been some intriguing accounts where hikers have shared their encounters with Bigfoot, only to witness peculiar lights in the sky later that very night. It's a bit of a stretch, I must admit. As I continue to delve into the unknown, it becomes increasingly difficult to brush off these recurring patterns as mere happenstance. What is it about this park that seems to draw in the unexplained? Is it the remote location, or maybe some mysterious geological aspect? There's definitely something intriguing going on here. I find myself pondering these questions without any hope of finding answers. What is it about this park that seems to draw in the unexplained? Is it the park's remote location, or maybe some mysterious geological aspect? I find myself pondering these questions without any hope of finding answers. There seems to be an underlying concern among rangers and experienced forestry workers. There's been a shift in our usual role as mere observers. Now it seems we're the ones under constant surveillance. There are certain areas in the park that have become mysteriously off limits, with an uptick in patrols by unfamiliar personnel. It's frustrating when permits for researchers are either delayed or denied completely. Even experienced residents who are familiar with these woods are being denied access at recently established checkpoints. Whispers of speculation fill the air. Have you ever heard those intriguing stories about unsuspecting colleagues stumbling upon something they shouldn't see, only to have their reports mysteriously altered or vanish into thin air? It's like a plot straight out of a high strangeness subreddit. The kind of tales that make you question what really goes on behind closed doors. Have you heard about these mysterious individuals in their ominous suits going around neighboring towns and posing unsettling inquiries? It's like they're towing the line between curiosity and intimidation. As you venture further into the depths of the old growth, the restrictions become increasingly peculiar. I stumbled upon these mysterious clearings that defy any logical explanation. During the nighttime, a few rangers have shared their accounts of hearing faint, rhythmic sounds emanating from the depths below, resembling distant machinery. Let's talk about the old fire lookout tower. According to reports, the structure has been out of service for quite some time due to its alleged structural instability. Occasionally, in the depths of the night, dim lights flicker within the tower's windows. On multiple occasions, forestry workers have reported sightings of unfamiliar vehicles parked near the overgrown access road. When asked about this, the higher-ups become mysteriously silent. It's becoming increasingly difficult to buy into the official explanations of routine maintenance or survey work. They just don't hold up anymore. There seems to be an intriguing secret lurking beneath the surface of this park, a hidden realm that was never intended for our eyes. I can't help but wonder about the profound depths of those enigmatic secrets and the potential interconnections between the eerie phenomena I've encountered in the mysterious woods above and the hidden realms that lie beneath. There exist ancient tales, often disregarded as mere Native American folklore, or the delusions of gold prospectors driven to madness by their seclusion. However, these thoughts have suddenly resurfaced in my mind. There have been some truly bizarre occurrences reported, such as caves mysteriously collapsing and springs and streams vanishing only to resurface in completely unexpected places. In a local historian's old journal, there's a fascinating account of peculiar metallic tremors that were felt deep beneath the earth back in the early 1960s. Coincidentally, around that time, a section of the park was suddenly closed off to the public, never to be reopened again. It's becoming apparent that there's more to this than meets the eye. The impact of this mysterious base, or whatever it may be, seems to extend beyond mere concealment. Are these bizarre animal carcasses and distorted footprints possibly the result of an unknown force emerging from beneath the surface? It's a perplexing phenomenon that may be beyond our understanding. Are the mysterious vanishings and eerie sensations in specific locations indicative of a deep-rooted imbalance? As my time here goes on, I've come to understand that the most significant threats aren't necessarily the ones with sharp claws or eerie glowing eyes. Instead, they tend to hide in the shadows, concealed by a web of government deception and the eerie ambiance of decaying trees. Sometimes, I find myself pondering the idea of leaving it all behind and seeking solace in the depths of a serene woodland, far removed from the chaos of everyday life. Honestly, I can't fathom the idea of leaving when there's so much yet to be unveiled in the world. There's something about this park that has seeped into my very being, along with whatever other mysteries lie hidden beneath its surface. Whether it's for good or bad, I find myself tied to this location and its enigmatic mysteries. In the spring of 2009, something truly bizarre occurred in Arcadia National Park. So, I was just doing my thing as a part-time ranger. Back in the spring of 2009, something truly bizarre went down in Arcadia National Park. It all started with a hiker who mysteriously vanished without a trace. Here's the account of the events, as reported by park rangers and witnesses who were directly involved in the search and rescue operation. On April 15, 2009, there was a report of a missing hiker. The hiker, a 28-year-old male named John Doe, had not returned to the campsite the night before, causing concern for his girlfriend. On April 14th, at approximately 2 p.m., Doe embarked on a solitary hike along the precipice trail in the park. According to fellow hikers, he was spotted around 4:30 p.m. near the peak of the trail. After receiving the distress call, park rangers wasted no time in launching a full-scale search and rescue mission. They mobilized a team of dedicated rangers and volunteers to comb the area on foot, while also utilizing helicopters for aerial searches. The weather was perfect. Despite exhaustive search efforts, there was no sign of Doe to be found on April 15th. After 3 days of relentless searching, the efforts were intensified, with the search area expanding to encompass not only the park, but also the surrounding regions. In a twist of fate, a search team stumbled upon a mysterious backpack on April 18th, around 11:30 a.m. This peculiar discovery took place deep within a dense forest. In the backpack, you'll find Doe's must-haves for hiking: a trusty water bottle, some tasty snacks, and a handy trail map. Interestingly, a handwritten note was discovered tucked away inside the backpack. Found a note from April 14th, 2009, 6:15 p.m. It said, "If you're reading this, Something has happened to me. There's this strange sensation that I can't quite put into words, but it's as if someone is constantly observing me. Just decided to ditch the trail and head west. Please refrain from pursuing me. Apologies for my mistake." The note bore Doe's initials as a signature. Upon stumbling upon the note, one couldn't help but wonder about Doe's mental state and the mysterious circumstances that led to his vanishing. Surprisingly, the investigation yielded no signs of foul play or any other peculiar happenings. John Doe is still missing, despite ongoing search efforts. The National Park Service and local law enforcement have classified his case as an ongoing missing person investigation. If anyone has any information about Doe's whereabouts or the events surrounding his disappearance, please reach out to the authorities immediately. Upon delving deeper into John Doe's background and behavior leading up to his disappearance, a rather disconcerting pattern of peculiar beliefs and actions has come to light. Based on interviews with Doe's girlfriend and close friends, it seems that he had developed a growing fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrial life, specifically focusing on the enigmatic gray aliens. Leading up to his disappearance, Doe had apparently developed a strong conviction that he was being closely watched by gray aliens, whom he believed would eventually come to his rescue. According to his account, he firmly believed that he had been selected by extraterrestrial beings for a unique mission. He confidently asserted that these otherworldly entities would come to his aid and transport him away from Earth at the opportune moment. According to friends and family, Doe seemed to have developed a keen interest in UFO sightings, alien abduction stories, and conspiracy theories surrounding extraterrestrial life. He would often spend countless hours gazing at the stars, hoping to make contact with what he believed were extraterrestrial beings. Doe had shared with his girlfriend his undeniable urge to explore the remote wilderness of Arcadia National Park, firmly believing that it was the very place where extraterrestrial beings would initiate contact with him. Convinced that retreating to the wilderness would enhance his connection with otherworldly beings, he eagerly sought solace in isolation. According to his girlfriend, Doe's demeanor was quite unsettled on the day he went missing, as he strongly insisted on embarking on a solitary hike. According to her, he was in possession of a little notebook brimming with peculiar symbols and drawings, which he insisted were a means of extraterrestrial communication. So, get this, stumbled upon Doe's note in his abandoned backpack, and let me tell you, it's a real mind-boggler. But that's not all. Turns out, the guy had some seriously out there behavior and beliefs. I mean, we're talking next level stuff. And get this, he was convinced that gray aliens were gonna swoop in and save him from good old planet Earth. Wild, right? There hasn't been any solid evidence discovered to back up the idea of extraterrestrial involvement in Doe's case. According to psychologists and mental health experts involved in the investigation, they have raised the possibility that Doe's intense interest in alien life and his belief in an imminent extraterrestrial rescue might be linked to an undisclosed mental health condition. Unfortunately, without any additional details or direct communication with Doe, it becomes quite challenging to ascertain the precise condition of his mental state during the period when he went missing. Although the official investigation into John Doe's disappearance has not found any evidence of extraterrestrial involvement, there are researchers and conspiracy theorists who believe that his case shares eerie resemblances to other unexplained disappearances and strange incidents that have taken place in national parks throughout the United States. Some theorists argue that there is mounting evidence indicating that the government might have knowledge of a broader pattern of peculiar activities occurring within the parks. possibly related to extraterrestrial phenomena. Some individuals claim that the National Park Service, along with other government agencies, has been deliberately withholding information about these incidents to prevent widespread alarm and maintain authority over the situation. There are those who believe that the government may have a clandestine division similar to the one depicted in the show X-Files that is focused on investigating and concealing any signs of extraterrestrial presence in national parks. There is a belief that this division could potentially be the cause of the mysterious lack of transparency surrounding cases such as John Doe's and the countless other baffling disappearances that have taken place in national parks throughout the years. There is no denying that the circumstances surrounding John Doe's disappearance are quite peculiar. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the unanswered questions surrounding his case have given rise to a plethora of speculation and conspiracy theories. Without further evidence or the discovery of Doe himself, the enigma surrounding his disappearance and the potential involvement of beings from beyond our world will likely continue to baffle us. After spending more than 10 years in the Forestry Service, I believed I had witnessed every bizarre occurrence these thick woods had in store. Having encountered majestic elk and powerful bears, as well as the smallest and most elusive creatures, I believed I had become quite familiar with the diverse inhabitants of this expansive wilderness. Unbeknownst to me, my perception of the forest was on the verge of being tested in a manner beyond my wildest dreams. Back in the day, when I was a young buck, I had just graduated college with a shiny new degree in environmental science. Working in the Forestry Service was a dream come true for someone like me who has always been captivated by the great outdoors. With my bags packed and a sense of excitement, I made my way to a secluded ranger station, ready to embark on a new chapter of my life deep within the heart of the forest. Throughout my years, I've become adept at deciphering the subtle messages of the forest as if it were a language of its own. I possess the remarkable ability to discern the age of a tree solely by analyzing the intricate patterns and texture of its bark. Additionally, I have honed my skills to the point where I can effortlessly recognize and identify the unique calls of numerous avian and terrestrial creatures. My days were filled with endless patrols along the trails, diligently keeping an eye on the well-being of the ecosystem and making sure that visitors to the forest understood the importance of maintaining the delicate balance of nature. Even in the midst of my solitary work, I never experienced a sense of loneliness. I found solace in the presence of the forest, knowing that my efforts were crucial in safeguarding this extraordinary wilderness for generations to come. Throughout the years, I've encountered my fair share of obstacles, ranging from intense wildfires to brutal winter storms. However, these trials have never wavered my profound bond with the forest. Let me share with you an absolutely mind-boggling encounter that left me feeling both amazed and disturbed. As I recount my experience, I can't help but wonder if there's a larger conspiracy at work, deliberately concealing the truth about the enigmatic beings that dwell within the depths of our woodlands. Throughout my time in the Forestry Service, I've come across countless stories from colleagues, hunters, and hikers that recount bizarre and unexplainable encounters with otherworldly beings. Initially, I brushed off these stories as nothing more than folklore or the product of vivid imaginations. However, as more and more accounts started to accumulate, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something deeper at play. It's truly baffling how, time and time again, individuals who bravely share their encounters with mysterious creatures are met with swift dismissal, ridicule, or even suppression by those in positions of power. It's quite intriguing how witnesses frequently find themselves under immense pressure to retract their statements, while evidence has a peculiar tendency to vanish into thin air, or conveniently be dismissed as mere hoaxes or misidentifications. There have been whispers circulating about certain government agencies going to great lengths to conceal the presence of these extraordinary beings from the general public. There are differing opinions on the reasons behind this. Some argue that it's to avoid causing mass hysteria, while others suspect ulterior motives, like safeguarding corporate interests or upholding the facade of authority over our untamed territories. It's time for me to break my silence and share what I've witnessed and experienced, no matter the motives behind concealing the truth. I can no longer be complicit in this deceit, and it's my duty to share my tale with those who are open to hearing it. By sharing my story, I aim to inspire others to do the same and collectively unveil the truth that has been concealed from us for an extensive period. During my first year in the Forestry Service, I had a truly mind-boggling experience. During the night shift, I had the privilege of working alongside Jack, a seasoned ranger who was kind enough to mentor me. Together, we explored the mysteries of patrolling the forest after the sun went down. As we were cruising down a desolate logging road, our headlights piercing through the dense fog that had engulfed the surroundings, out of nowhere, Jack abruptly slammed on the brakes, causing the truck to jolt to a stop. Raising my gaze from the map I had been engrossed in, a mixture of confusion and irritation washed over me as the abrupt halt disrupted my train of thought. However, upon witnessing the expression on Jack's face, my initial annoyance swiftly transformed into genuine worry. His gaze fixated on the windshield, his eyes widened, and his mouth hung open, as if he had just witnessed something inexplicable. I couldn't believe what I was seeing as I followed his gaze. Imagine this: 3 luminous orbs suspended effortlessly above the line of trees, forming a flawless triangle. These mysterious entities I encountered were truly extraordinary, emanating an uncanny, ethereal glow that defied all rational explanation. There was something undeniably eerie about the synchronized movement of the lights as they effortlessly glided through the dark expanse of the night sky. I stood there completely speechless as I witnessed something that seemed to defy all logic. Time seemed to stretch on endlessly as my mind grappled with the sheer incomprehensibility of what was unfolding before my eyes. I mustered up the courage to face Jack, my voice quivering with fear as I inquired, "Can you please enlighten me about those peculiar entities?" Jack reluctantly shifted his attention from the mesmerizing lights and gave me a serious, almost fearful expression. "Pay close attention," he insisted, his voice filled with a sense of urgency. "No sightings tonight. Those lights, non-existent. And if anyone inquires, you relay the same message. Clear?" I simply nodded, unable to find my voice amidst the overwhelming shock and confusion. Jack continued driving, gripping the steering wheel tightly and showing signs of tension. After completing our patrol, a heavy silence settled between us, burdened by the eerie sights we had witnessed. It was about 6 months later when I had another mind-boggling experience with those mysterious glowing orbs. Little did I know that soon after, I would be thrust into a search and rescue mission that would push the boundaries of my perception even further. A mysterious disappearance has occurred in a quiet neighborhood, leaving the community puzzled. Margaret, an elderly woman and longtime resident, went for a leisurely stroll in the nearby woods, only to vanish into thin air. The family was in a state of panic, desperately seeking help from the local authorities who had enlisted the assistance of the Forestry Service. After tirelessly scouring the thick forest for days on end, our relentless pursuit for any trace of Margaret continued. Despite exhausting all available resources, including tracking dogs and thermal imaging cameras, it appeared as if she had mysteriously disappeared without a trace. As the days dragged on and hope started to dwindle, a lingering suspicion crept into my mind that there was more to Margaret's disappearance than what initially appeared. On the 5th day of our search, we finally had a stroke of luck. There was a hiker who claimed to have spotted a woman who looked just like Margaret, aimlessly wandering in a secluded part of the forest. This was quite a distance away from where she had disappeared. Our focus shifted to the area, and after an extensive search lasting hours, we successfully located her. However, the Margaret we stumbled upon was not the identical woman who had vanished nearly a week ago. The woman's attire was truly peculiar. A billowing robe embellished with mesmerizing patterns and enigmatic symbols that were entirely unfamiliar to me. There was a certain otherworldly quality to her gaze, as if she were peering into a realm beyond our own. Her mind appeared to be lost in a labyrinth of uncertainty, unable to even distinguish familiar faces. As we guided Margaret to safety, she couldn't help but express her frustration with a persistent headache that refused to subside. She couldn't recall anything about her whereabouts or the events that transpired during the time she was gone. After thorough examination, the doctors were unable to identify any physical cause for her condition. Consequently, she was discharged and entrusted to the care of her family. Margaret's case has been consuming my thoughts. With her peculiar attire, the mysterious vanishing and reappearing act, and the eerie migraine she detailed, it became evident that there was something much more extraordinary at play. It got me thinking if there might be some kind of link between Margaret's encounter and those mysterious glowing orbs I witnessed a few months back. After the unsettling encounter with Margaret, I stumbled upon another perplexing enigma that left me equally disturbed. As I was wrapping up my shift at the ranger station one evening, ready to call it a day, my attention was caught by a mysterious sight. Nestled in the darkness of the tree line, there sat a sleek black sedan. As I made my way towards my truck, a pair of sharply dressed individuals stepped out of the sedan and confidently walked towards me. These guys came up to me, claiming to be some sort of government agents. They whipped out their badges so fast, I couldn't even see what agency they were from. I was approached by someone who had some inquiries regarding an event that took place half a year ago. To be precise, the encounter with the luminous spheres that Jack and I experienced on that eerie evening. It dawned on me that these individuals had an uncanny awareness of the lights, even though Jack and I had never disclosed a single detail about them to anyone. The agents seemed quite intrigued by the sighting and expressed a strong desire to gather any information I could offer. Their inquiries were sharp and precise, delving into the specifics of the orb's dimensions, hues, and patterns of motion. I responded with complete honesty, yet couldn't shake off the unsettling feeling that their curiosity was becoming increasingly intense. It was evident that these men had a profound fascination with the inexplicable, going beyond mere curiosity. As the discussion neared its end, the agents made a final, bone-chilling request. I was strongly advised not to talk about the incident with anyone else, as they hinted at the possibility of serious consequences if I disregarded their warning. There was never a direct threat, but it was clear that they didn't want the information about what I had witnessed to be made public. After that, the agents hopped back into their sedan and zoomed away into the night, leaving me all by myself in the pitch black. There was an undeniable sense of being thrust into a realm of unfathomable magnitude and intricacy. where the enigmatic depths of the forest remained elusive to someone of my humble stature. It was as if I had stumbled into a twisted web of unsettling occurrences. One night, I was startled by a series of eerie sounds outside my house. Initially, I brushed off these sounds as typical forest noises. However, as time passed, an unsettling sensation crept over me, leaving me with the persistent belief that there was an unseen presence observing my every move. One night, I suddenly found myself jolted awake by the eerie sound of deep, raspy breathing emanating from the foot of my bed. Startled, I jolted upright, my heart racing, only to come face to face with a mysterious figure standing ominously above me. There was this mysterious entity, completely shrouded in darkness, constantly morphing and swirling like wisps of smoke. Its eyes emitted an eerie, sinister red glow. I was overcome with terror, rendering me unable to utter a single sound. My body froze in place, leaving me completely helpless. As I stood there, a chilling presence emerged, its hand extending towards me with fingers resembling twisted branches. A wave of icy coldness enveloped me upon contact. It felt like a chilling void was consuming me, leaving me devoid of any warmth or vitality. I found myself in a state of utter helplessness, unable to resist the sinister entity that surrounded me. My body felt weighed down, as if an unseen power was holding me captive. My nightmare had only just begun after this chilling encounter. There has been a noticeable increase in the sightings of a mysterious dark entity, consistently appearing during the nighttime hours. Those who have encountered it describe an intense feeling of fear and hopelessness that accompanies its presence. Every morning, I would be greeted by its eerie presence lurking in the corners of my room, effortlessly merging with the darkness. Sometimes, it would hover above me while I lay in bed. I attempted to make sense of these encounters, striving to persuade myself that they were merely intense nightmares or hallucinations triggered by stress and sleep deprivation. However, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was a mysterious aspect to this entity, something beyond our comprehension. It dawned on me that there might be a link between its arrival and my previous run-in with the enigmatic men in black and those mysterious glowing orbs I witnessed in the woods several months ago. Feeling completely isolated and without anyone to confide in, I've been carrying the weight of my experiences in solitude for what feels like an eternity. The fear of being dismissed as insane or irrational has kept me from opening up to anyone, but my journey didn't stop there. Something strange occurred near the ranger station on August 15, 2018, around 23:45. Witnesses reported an intriguing sighting of a massive triangular craft measuring approximately 50 to 60 feet across as it hovered eerily above the tree line without making a sound. A mysterious craft bathed the forest canopy in an ethereal, pulsating blue light as it hovered above. It stayed still for about 3 minutes before suddenly speeding up and vanishing from sight. 2 Forestry Service personnel, who preferred to keep their identities undisclosed, were present to witness this intriguing occurrence. After this sighting, there was a surge in reports from hikers and campers who claimed to have seen peculiar, 2-legged creatures lurking in the depths of the forest. There have been reports of these fascinating beings that stand around 7-8 feet tall. They have remarkably long limbs and eyes that are said to be quite reflective. Footprint casts were taken at various locations, revealing a foot size of approximately 16 inches in length. So, get this, hair samples from these places were sent to a third-party lab for analysis. And guess what? The DNA sequence they found didn't match any known animal species. Crazy, right? In addition, A string of perplexing animal mutilations were uncovered in the vicinity during this particular time frame. In a clearing about 2 miles north of the ranger station, a dead elk was discovered on September 3rd, 2018. There was something truly peculiar about the animal. Its body had been meticulously dissected, with each organ removed with surgical precision. There were no signs of predation or scavenging, and the surrounding area showed no tracks or physical evidence. There have been multiple incidents reported over the course of the month involving a wide range of wildlife species. There has been a noticeable surge in the number of unmarked black helicopters spotted in the vicinity during the same time frame. There have been numerous instances where Forestry Service personnel have witnessed the presence of these mysterious helicopters gliding stealthily through the dense forest, particularly during the dark hours of the night, completely devoid of any discernible markings or identification. When trying to reach out to local military bases and government agencies about these aircraft, they seem to be quite elusive and evasive in their responses. Interesting to point out that these incidents share uncanny resemblances to a string of events that took place in the neighboring town of Millfield back in the 1970s. As per the records found in the local newspaper archives, the town experienced a series of UFO sightings and peculiar creature encounters during the summer of 1975. In a twist of fate, a local farmer mysteriously vanished, leaving no trace behind. The mystery lingers, still without a resolution. After carefully examining the evidence and considering the historical context, it becomes apparent that a series of inexplicable occurrences have been taking place in this particular area. There have been numerous sightings of strange craft, along with the appearance of bizarre creatures and the disturbing mutilation of local wildlife. These occurrences seem to be part of a larger and interconnected web of events. There's something truly intriguing about these unexplained events that just begs for further investigation and research. We need to dig deeper and uncover the truth behind these mind-boggling occurrences. On October 12, 2018, at 02:15, a series of intriguing seismic events caught the attention of the Geological Monitoring Station situated 5 miles east of the ranger station. There was some seismic activity that lasted for about 90 seconds, but it didn't seem to be connected to any known geological fault lines in the area. The experts from the United States Geological Survey were stumped when it came to explaining the strange readings. During the seismic events, a resident in the area claimed to have witnessed a captivating, pulsating light coming from a distant part of the forest. An anonymous witness recently recounted a truly mind-boggling encounter. According to them, the light they witnessed was so bizarre and out of this world that it defied all explanation. Even after a thorough investigation by Forestry Service personnel, no concrete evidence or plausible theories could be found to shed light on this mysterious phenomenon. After these events took place, the town of Rockwell experienced a string of mysterious power outages. During the outages, lasting for hours on end, both residential and commercial properties were impacted. The technicians from the local power company couldn't figure out what was causing the outages. They said that everything seemed to be working fine with the equipment. When you take into account these incidents, along with the previous sightings of unidentified craft, strange creatures, and animal mutilations, it seems like there could be some kind of connection between them all. There's something intriguing about how close those seismic events were to the unexplained light sightings. It makes you wonder if there's some kind of connection between these strange occurrences. Additionally, the power outages in Rockwell seem to share striking resemblances to similar incidents reported in other areas where UFO sightings have been well documented. Did you know that a recent study published by the National UFO Reporting Center, and euphoric, has found a fascinating connection between UFO sightings and unexplained power outages. It seems that there is a statistically significant correlation between these two phenomena. How intriguing. Interesting to mention, the Rockwell area has quite a fascinating history filled with peculiar happenings. Back in the 1950s, a bunch of crop circles mysteriously popped up in the fields surrounding the town. Speculation and investigation surrounded the crop circles, varying in size from 20 to 100 feet in diameter. Despite extensive research, a conclusive explanation for their formation remains elusive. But you know what doesn't remain elusive? Why you should totally hit that like and subscribe button for more stories, strange eyewitness accounts, just like some of the ones you heard in today's episode. In fact, at this point, and you guys are going to be stoked because I have daily content at this point coming your way, so get excited and I'll see you guys all in the next episode.